All right, welcome back to the channel. In this video, if you can't beat them, buy them. That appears to be the path that Gervonta Davis nemesis and Canelo Alvarez nemesis, Turki Alalshikh, is taking to the boxing world. As information is revealed about a major purchase that he is pursuing as a result of a partnership with the WBA, which very well may affect the very foundation of boxing in a funny way. And this is Turki Alalshikh's plan with the WBA. And as a result, the WBA, according to reports, have been kicked off Boxrec. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. Every once in a while in boxing, there is a business purchase that is made or a strategic move that is made as it relates to governing bodies, record keepers, media, things outside the ring, but things that outside the ring that really do affect the perception of fighters in the ring. And if you can affect the perception that people have of fighters in the ring, then you have control over that particular fighter. In large degree, you can affect how people view him. And it appears as if that is a plan. There's a plan in motion for Turki Alalshikh to control a large perception, in large part, the perception of not only every fighter that is actively fighting, but every fighter that has ever fought in the sport of boxing, as he has attempted to buy Boxrec, and he is attempting, according to reports, to replace Boxrec with Fight Facts, which would allow him to have access and control over every professional boxing record that there is, and all the information that is researched about a particular fighter as it relates to their boxing record. Also, an entire ranking system that boxing fans, for some reason, take seriously. I have fought very hard against people taking Boxrec and Boxrec's opinions outside of the records and the fights that they took place seriously, but it's kind of like Ring Magazine, when Ring Magazine was purchased by Oscar de la Hoya, and Ring Magazine ceased to be well, I don't know if it ever was, but an independent journalist, an organization of independent journalists giving their thoughts about an industry to fans. Ring Magazine turned into the property of Oscar de la Hoya that is now basically putting out press releases for whatever fighters that their owner wants to promote. So, Turki Alalshikh, what does it mean if he buys Boxrec? If he replaces Boxrec with Fight Facts? First of all, Boxrec is, for most hardcore boxing fans, something that you go to every day. Almost every single solitary day, every single solitary fight that there is, I go to Boxrec to look up what the record of the fighter is, to refresh my memory about what fights that he had, who did the fighters that he's fighting. Boxrec has a lot to do with people that want to gamble on fights. Boxrec is where you go if fighters are trying to figure out who they're going to fight next and what type of opponents they should be looking at. They live in Boxrec because Boxrec is pretty much the official record for all boxing that most people in the world, all over the world, look to. You've seen on multiple occasions people, especially like ESPN, when they present records, playing with those records. You have accusations related to Devin Haney of going to Mexico, losing in Mexico, and paying somebody off to change that record. So the importance of Boxrec and those records cannot be underestimated. And when you move that from an independent organization, at least on its face that it's independent, to having it owned by somebody that is in the business of boxing who has self-interest in the perception of fighters, of one fighter over the other, who can rewrite algorithms to list people and figure out exactly how they're going to credit somebody to get them higher in the rankings for perception. That should not be in the hands of somebody that has a vested interest in it. But the WBC agreed to the WBA agreed to a partnership with Turki Alalshikh. And so the WBA, so Boxrec, my understanding is, and shout out to Brunch Boxing over on Twitter, the Twitter space, because that's where this information came from. It's just a disaster. It's something that you will never touch. Like most boxing fans out there in the world who don't pay attention to it every day, they're not even going to notice the change. They're not there. However, please understand that once you have an official site that lists things and you can claim it's independent, people will start looking at that versus looking at the rankings of the actual sanctioning bodies. They're going to look for the pound for pound list over there. They're going to look and say, oh, you've never fought a top 10 opponent. Top 10 opponent according to who? Top 10 opponent according to Fight Facts. Top 10 opponent according to Boxrec. Well, how do you know they're a top 10? Well, because we got this algorithm, and the algorithm looks at who they fought and who their opponents had fought before that, and they come up with a standard system, and there you go. If you've ever read a book or heard of the book Methods of Weapons of Math, MATH Destruction, you understand algorithms and all that, those type of predictive type of things. They all can be manipulated, or they're all subject to rules that are laid out by the person that writes it. So you can just through the designing of those algorithms, make it look like fighters associated with Turki Alalshikh are fighting higher competition than the ones that are not fighting on Turki Alalshikh cards. The same way that you could see that Golden Boy fighters are going to get preferential treatment in Ring Magazine, and top rank fighters are going to get preferential treatment in the rankings of the pay-per-view of the pound for pound list on ESPN. I don't like it. It's very, very dangerous, and I don't personally think that it should be allowed. Now, as far as the websites themselves, Fight Facts has been around for a long time. Fight Facts was actually the original record keeper that was named in the Muhammad Ali Act for the American Council, ABC, which is the Association of Boxing Commissions that oversees in the United States the WBA, the WBC, the IBF, and the WBO, and the IBO as well. They were the official ones. So their system is good, but it seems, and they have been keeping records for a very long time. They were the original one, but people shifted and looked at more the commercially viable application called Boxrec. And I think that the ABC eventually started partnering with Boxrec. So I don't think if it's much of an issue to go back to Fight Facts, because Fight Facts original records, I think that they were more reliable than Boxrec's, but they stopped really operating after a while, and it was impossible to get reports from them. Bringing it back as something that is privately owned, but owned by Turki Alalshikh, who knows what's going to go on with that stuff. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. Turki Alalshikh, if he's able to do this, will own the records of every fighter, professional record of every fighter in boxing. He will literally own the official record of Gervonta Davis. He will own the official record of Errol Spence Jr. and any other fighter that you can name. And if he wants to make corrections to those records, he will be able to make corrections to those records. And just so you know, if you've got a fight that took place in Mexico in a small hall, how does Fight Facts get it? Somebody sends it in and lets them know about it. Somebody that works with Fight Facts or works with Boxrec just lets them know. So if they want to change it, they can change it at any point. They can change it at any time. And that's not a good thing. Anyway, that's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.